5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All systems go with Josh Appelbaum starts now.
Hello and welcome to episode 460 of the All Systems Go Sports Betting Podcast, powered by Rhythm. I am your host, Josh Appelbaum. What's going on, everyone? Happy Monday. A new week begins. Also happens to be the final week in the month of February. Need a little positivity, a little light at the end of the tunnel, something to look forward to. And to me, that's the month of March. March Madness, baseball. You've been hearing me talk about. I pretty much just have to say it out loud to avoid seasonal depression here. Because if you are like me in New England or anywhere on the East Coast of the United States, you are getting pummeled as we speak with snow. So already about 2 feet of snow where I'm at. Started at around 6 o'clock last night, and as I'm speaking, early to mid afternoon, it is still snowing. It's going to snow until like 8 o'clock tonight. So just when you think winter is over, and there was one day last week where it was like 40 degrees, the birds were chirping, the snow was melting. My dog touched grass in our backyard for the first time. I created her these little trails to go through, like a little maze. She has fun with that. But nope, that wasn't it. Winter said, we ain't done with you yet. So just want to tell everyone out there, if you are like me, shoveling every few hours, don't go too hard. Don't be a hero. I saw this tweet that came out. It was from some local news reporter or meteorologist in Boston, but they were saying, hey, the snow is heavy, the snow is wet, and it's called, quote unquote, heart attack snow. So that means like the majority of people have a heart attack when they're shoveling. This is the snow that they have their heart attack with. So luckily they said, hey, 50 or older, that's when you're really, prone to it. I'm 38, so I guess I got 12 more years before I got to get a snowblower. But again, if you're out there, don't go too hard. If you are somewhere listening where it's warm, whether you're in Vegas or somewhere south or somewhere nice, I'm jealous of you. So enjoy it. Enjoy it while it's here. And I'm just going to, twiddle my fingers until spring actually finally shows itself. But yeah, stuck in a blizzard here. Not fun. But anyway, guys, we're going to get right back to it because it is a Monday, final week of February, as I mentioned, and we're going to hopefully finish off this month strong. I got a 3-pack of college basketball plays for you. So kind of a small slate. There's only 9 games overall, but I have 2 huge games, 2 biggest games of the night. ESPN ranked teams, extremely heavily bet. We got to fade the trendy dog. We have an epic contrarian play with a gambler's fallacy, which I'll kind of talk about that here in a second. You might have heard that phrase, but I'll give you a reminder of what it is. And then also 2 big ones and then a small one, an added extra game with a pretty sharp line move. So we're going to see, as always, if we can go 2-1 and eke out a winning day. So with that being said, let's get right into it, guys. 3-pack, as I mentioned, let's try to get 2 of them. So first bet on the board for me. First bet of the night here, 7 o'clock Eastern time, big one between Louisville and North Carolina. This is game 8-9-1, 8-9-2 for those playing at home. So let's set the stage, talk splits, line movement, system matches, and I'll give you my play for this one. So Louisville comes in 20-7 on the year, ranked 21st in the country, but they're playing pretty well. They've won 6 of their last 7, just beat Georgia Tech 87-70, didn't cover though. They were favored by 23.5 at home in that one. Meanwhile, North Carolina, 21-6, they're ranked 16th. They've been a little 500 here recently, wins and losses in their last 4, and they just did beat Syracuse 77-64. They actually won that game outright as a 1.5-point road dog. So what have we seen across the market here? Well, this game opened with Louisville, listed around a 1.5-point road favorite. So some books were 2.5, a lot of books were 1.5. But what was very clear here is that this opening line, spoke volumes to me. Because if you think about it, Louisville is 20-7, ranked 21st. North Carolina is 21-6, ranked 16th. So North Carolina has the better record, the higher and better ranking, and North Carolina has home court advantage. Yet, with all that being said, Louisville opened as a short favorite, -1.5, -2.5. So the public is saying Tar Heels are the better team. They're at home. Take the points of the Tar Heels. So if you look across the market, nearly 60% of spread bets are going with UNC at home plus the points. However, this is where it gets good. Even though a majority of tickets are on UNC, the line is not down to 1 or a pick'em. This line has gone further toward Louisville. Louisville went from -1.5 up to -2.5, and the 2.5's now gotten up to -3, -3.5. So let's take a step back. If more than or roughly 60% of tickets, nearly 2/3 of bets are on UNC, And, odds makers are saying, hey, you like the Tar Heels? Here's a 1.5. Oh, here's a 2.5. Oh, here's a 3.5. Why are the odds makers giving out more and more points to the public when they're already betting the Tar Heels to begin with? So that's an indication to me of a classic fade the trendy dog play, a classic reverse line move play. A little more than a third of tickets on Louisville, yet the line is moving toward Louisville. So it tells me smart money here is on the Cardinals. Now, specifically at DK, Louisville is getting 42% of bets, but over 65% of spread dollars. So good low bets, higher dollar split, which not only do we have the sharp reverse line move, again, public UNC, but line going to Louisville, but even if you take away that sharp line move, that sharp RLM, just a straight up contrarian play. There's only 9 games tonight, guys, and a lot of them are added extra games. In fact, this game, we're going to talk Houston, Kansas in a second. Those are the only 2 regular 3-digit rotation number games. Every other game is an added extra game. So if you think about it, East Coast is snowed in today. It's a blizzard. Everyone's going to be watching Louisville, North Carolina, and Houston, Kansas. So if we even take away the sharp RLM toward Louisville, Louisville is just a good contrarian play. Heavily bet, nationally televised game on ESPN. Public's on trendy dog North Carolina. I want to be on the sharp contrarian favorite Louisville. Now, Ken Palm does have Louisville winning, but only by 1 point, 81-80. He does have the Cardinals ranked higher, though, 15th in the country versus 30th for North Carolina. I'm going to mitigate some risk here. I played Louisville on the money line at minus 150. Shout out to those of you who read the sharp reports that I write for VSiN.com or have signed up to get the $4.99 a week best bets from Juice Reel, because I put this in at minus 150, and now I'm seeing Louisville. Lowest number I'm seeing, guys, is minus 165 at BetMGM, and I'm seeing some shops as high as like minus 190. So definitely shop around. Again, I think it's a good and a bad thing. It's a good thing that line keeps going toward Louisville, even though public's on North Carolina. Again, not a great thing if you haven't bet it yet, but still minus 165. I'd let that ride. We want to protect ourselves on the off chance that North Carolina maybe hangs tough and loses by 1, 2, or 3, in which case they cover the 3.5. We only care about Louisville winning the damn game. I like the splits at DraftKings on the money line. 40% bets, 50% dollars on the Louisville money line at Circa. 75% bets, over 90% dollars on Louisville. You also look at some stat advantages here. Louisville, better offensive efficiency, 13th versus 31st for UNC. Better defensive efficiency, 28th versus 38th. The stronger effective field goal percentage, 18th versus 65th. They shoot the 3 better, 61st versus 202nd. And free throw shooting, 17th versus 308th. Oh, by the way, I believe his name's Caleb Wilson. Best player on UNC, got injured a few games ago, so he is out for this matchup. So I think the public just says, hey, North Carolina, better team, better record at home. Big name school, obviously. But even though public's on UNC, this line keeps creeping up toward Louisville. So I played Louisville on the money line, minus 150. Again, hope you got that number. If not, looks like minus 165 is your best price. But let's go Louisville Cardinals. Next, 7:30 p.m. Here's our sandwich game. Tiny little game, but it's got a sharp line move, what we look for. This is Houston Christian at East Texas A&M. Now, Houston Christian comes in 10-18 on the year. They just saw their 2-game win streak come to an end. They lost to Northwestern State 71-53. Did not cover as a 2.5-point road dog. On the other hand, East Texas A&M 11-18. They've dropped 3 of their last 4. Just came up short against Incarnate Word 82-73. Lost outright as a 3.5-point home favorite. So just sitting across the market here. Well, this game opened with East Texas A&M listed around a 2.5-point home favorite. And again, the important thing here is this is an added extra game. Game 306, 601, 306, 602. So we got to look at it a little bit differently than a big, Louisville, UNC, or in a second here, Houston, Kansas. It's not a heavily bet. Got to have ESPN Plus if you want to watch it. But what do we always talk about? Games that are low bet, obscure, sharp line moves, important to us. Because even though the public may not care or have any interest in betting, Houston Christian and East Texas A&M, once again, I'll give you the mascot test. Off the top of your head, can you name me the mascots for either of these teams? Well, Houston Christian is the Huskies. East Texas is the Lions. But again, the point being, public wants nothing to do with this game. 2 bad teams, 2 losing records, a tiny little matchup that no one cares about. However, we have seen movement toward East Texas A&M. East Texas A&M went from minus 2.5, some shops up to minus 3. They did reach as high as minus 3.5 earlier today. So all movement and liability has been on the side of East Texas A&M. Again, important to me because it's a low bet obscure game. The splits look pretty good on East Texas A&M. 67% of spread bets, 74% of spread dollars. and I wouldn't call that 67% public because it's a low bet game, so it's probably mostly sharps who have targeted this matchup. Now, Ken Palm has East Texas A&M winning by 4 points, 71-67. So if you want to lay a 2.5, 3.5, okay, Ken Palm's got him winning by 4. This makes me just want to, be more confident in my money line play. So I did money line East Texas. I got them at minus 150 as well. Same price as Louisville. Still, you can probably get around minus 150, minus 155, although I do see one book at minus 160. But I like that he also has the Lions ranked higher, 283rd versus 298th for the Huskies. And if you look at Circa, again, who's walking up to the window at Circa, Sharp Book in Vegas saying, give me East Texas A&M? I would assume it's people who know what they're doing. So at Circa, 50% money line bets, 71% of money line dollars on the Lions at home. East Texas A&M has the better defensive efficiency, 195th in the country versus 298th. So they play better defense. They hold their opponents to a better effective field goal percentage, 257th versus 328th. Now, East Texas A&M, they're only 6-7 at home, so not a great home record. But Houston Christian is 2-14 on the road. That's the second worst road record in their conference, the Southland Conference. Also, hopefully some added motivation here. But we have East Texas A&M having gone to Houston Christian back in mid-January. They lost 81-70. So a chance here to hopefully get some revenge. So it's a tiny little matchup, but it's pretty clear. The splits, the line movement, all toward East Texas A&M. And oh, by the way, East Texas A&M has an 8%, nothing huge, but an 8% sharp mush edge on the money line from our friends at Juice Reel. So 8% more of the sharper winning bettors who have downloaded Juice Reel, synced up their books. They are also going with East Texas A&M. So I'm on East Texas A&M Lions, win the damn game on the money line. I got minus 150. Now, last bet of the night. Cannot wait to sweat this one. It is so gross. It is so sharp. I cut my finger on my app when I put this in. Started bleeding all over my phone. Just kidding, I didn't. But that tells you how sharp it is. 9 p.m., the big boy, the big matchup tonight, Houston and Kansas. Now, Houston comes in 23-4, ranked second in the country, but they did lose 2 straight. They just fell to Arizona 73-66. They were a 6-point home favorite in that one, lost the game outright. Meanwhile, Kansas 20-7, they're ranked 8th in the country. They've lost 2 of their last 3. They just got beat up by Cincinnati 84-68, lost outright as an 8.5-point home favorite. So what have you seen across the market here? Well, this game opened with Houston listed around a 1.5-point road favorite. And the public, this is where the gambler's fallacy comes into play. The public says that line is so short, Houston is the better team, and there's no possible way that the powerhouse Houston Cougars can lose 3 in a row. Just can't happen. They cannot lose 3 in a row. They're so good, it can't happen. That's what the gambler's fallacy is. Gambler's fallacy says just because something has happened a lot recently doesn't mean it's immediately going to flip, or vice versa. So example, good teams, when you think they have to bounce back and win, they're due. Anytime you hear a handicapper or someone who you listen to talk about a pick saying this team is due, I automatically say, You're revealing yourself as a gambler's fallacy play, but it's not about something being due. And the great example of gambler's fallacy, it happened in Monaco, I think in like 1912 or something, where the legend has it that they're at this Monaco casino and it landed on red like 25 times in a row. And basically after like the 10th spin, everyone kept betting black, because it was due. It had to happen. It happened eventually, but not after like 15 more spins, and everyone got cleaned out. So that's the gambler's fallacy. Don't bet something just because it's due. Now, Houston may win this game and cover the number, but it's not because they're due. It's because, they're the better team. They played better. But with that being said, everyone's saying it's got to be Houston tonight. 69% of spread bets at DraftKings running as fast as they can to lay the chalk with the Cougars. Now, this minus 1.5 for Houston, it did get bet up as high as minus 2.5, but since that time, it's come back down to 1.5. So we are basically looking at a contrarian line freeze in favor of Kansas. And basically what that means is the opening number was minus 1.5. We're still minus 1.5. Why aren't we up to minus 3, minus 4? If everyone and their mother's on Houston, why aren't the odds makers, increasing this number to make it more difficult to back Houston? Nope, they're not doing that. So it tells me that they have liability and they are basically more fearful of giving out a better number to Kansas backers. So I like the Jayhawks in this one, guys. Sharp line freeze, everybody and their mother on Houston. So not only is it the number one contrarian play of the night, only 31% of spread bets at DK are on Kansas. It's also your late night ESPN game. But you have not just a contrarian play, but an element of smart money with that line freeze. Again, why are we at the same number even though everyone's playing Houston. Tells me smart money here on Jayhawks. Now, you look at Circa, only 21% spread bets, but 54% of spread dollars are on Kansas. So a really good split out there in Vegas. Ken Palm has Houston winning, but only by 1 point, 69-68. So plus 1.5, some value there. Did notice Kansas has a advantage in terms of effective field goal percentage, 92nd versus 147th. Better three-point shooting, 90th versus 179th. Now, this reminds me a little bit, if you guys remember, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but remember when we had Kansas at home against Arizona, where everyone was on Arizona and that line kept dropping toward Kansas? Reminds me similar spot here to back the Jayhawks. So Gambler's Fallacy says Houston's awesome. They cannot, in any situation, lose 3 in a row. But liability, sharp contrarian splits, system matches here on Kansas. There's a 10% sharp mush edge from our friends at Juice Reel on Kansas. And Rhythm has Kansas. I have 2 models, Kansas plus 0.9 and Kansas minus 0.2. So basically it's a pick'em game. So I jumped on Kansas plus 1.5 at minus 105. That is a bit of a reduced juice play. Every book's at 1.5, although I do see Caesars at plus 2. So if you haven't bet it yet and you do have access to Caesars, I'd grab the plus 2. But I'm sitting I'm sitting steady here, sticking with my original bet, Kansas plus 1.5. And let's just hope they win this game outright. And there's a crazy stat going around. Bill Self, I think, is 40-0, 39-0 in his last Monday home games or something. Again, I'll take it. If they win, I'll take it. But I think it's a good angle here to go against the public. So 2 biggest games of the night, Louisville, Kansas, we can go against the public, and then East Texas A&M, we can follow an obscure sharp line move. So Louisville money line, East Texas money line, Kansas plus 1.5. If you can get a 2, even better. So that about does it for episode 460 of the All Systems Go Sports Betting Podcast, powered by Rhythm. This is the part of the pod where we wrap things up, and I always start first by saying thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for grinding in the arena with me every single day through the ups and the downs, the good and the bad, the hot streaks, the cold streaks, grinding 2-1s, being annoyed at 1-2s, celebrating 3-0s, being frustrated 0-3s. Hey, that's life, that's betting. We're going to have good days and bad days. But what I do enjoy is hosting this pod and talking through all the games from a data-driven perspective. So if you enjoy it as well and you want to help me grow this podcast, please, could you give it a 5-star review on Spotify or iTunes? If you want to leave a comment under the review tab, if you want to click the follow button, that way you get a pop-up on your phone when it drops each afternoon, or you would like to recommend the pod to a friend or retweet the pod when I put it out on Twitter at Josh_Insights. I would very much appreciate any or all of those things. But seriously, thank you for listening. Next, if you enjoy this style of betting breakdown, data-driven, sharp contrarian betting, focusing on line movement, bet splits, system matches, seeing what Rhythm and Juice Reel are telling us, but most of all, betting with our head and not our heart, following the market, trying to keep our bias at the door. Yeah, Houston can't lose 3 in a row. You got to hammer Houston tonight. Okay, well, what's the market saying? Market's saying liability Kansas, so we're going Kansas. But again, if this style of betting has appealed to you, you find it interesting, you want to learn more about data-driven betting, you want to let me know you appreciate the pod, you have someone in your life, family member, colleague, friend, whoever, who wants to get into sports betting or bets and loses a lot and can't tell you their reasoning for making a bet. They just say, oh, that felt that way. We'll get away from feelings, stick with data, stick with numbers. If you'd like to learn more, you can go to Amazon.com. I'd be honored if you wanted to buy one or both of my books. Just type in the NFL Sharp Betting Playbook or the Everything Guide to Sports Betting. Grab one or both. Bring the sports book. I'll sign them for you. I'll buy a beer or a ginger ale if I can shovel out and get to the book. I'll be doing that for you. Next, have you downloaded Rhythm and Juice Reel yet? My 2 favorite sports betting apps. They help me win. They're going to help you win. Rhythm, fantastic for their AI-backed models and predictions for game bets and player props. Reminder, Thursday night, as we do every Thursday night, 6 p.m., we'll have our Rhythm Rundown, so looking forward to that. Myself and my buddy Kate Harper. But then also Juice Reel. Juice Reel has a lot of great features. Of course, I'm going to pass the hat. If you'd like to, again, this pod is free, so if you'd like to support the pod, tip your podcast host, let me know you appreciate the insights. You can do it in the form of signing up to get the ASG Best Bet Picks from Juice Reel. It'll cost you $4.99 a week. Don't freak out. It's not $499 a week. It's literally $4.99 a week. Basically $5, and you'll get a full week's worth of plays. So you can tail fade, do what you like. But again, you go out to dinner, the bartender takes care of you. You tip the bartender. You go, You go out to dinner, the server takes care of you, fills your water when you don't have to ask, they just do it. They treat you right. You give them a tip. Hey, if you enjoy the pod, I'll take tips in the form of the ASG best bets from Juice Reel. We're also going to get the Robo Jackson best bet picks, the Sharp Mush indicators, the arbitrage plays, the shop for the best line futures, all available when you download Juice Reel. So download Rhythm, download Juice Reel, give them both a 5-star review in the App Store. Next, you have a live odds page. Well, if you don't have one, you need one. You got to be able to track the market. You got to be able to figure out all the games available to you to bet that day, the start times, the live scoring, the live in-game wagering odds that update as the game is progressing. Maybe provide you an in-game opportunity. Or, of course, what I like to do is all my research prior to the game, which is your pre-flop bet, by focusing on how the market has moved. What did the line open at? Your opening column that never changes, all the current odds to the right. You can immediately see which direction the line has moved. You can pull up the line history. Okay, it's 1.5. It's still 1.5. Okay, pull up the line history. Did it go up to 2? Did it get down to 1? These are key pieces of info that you need to find out. You can do this all, as well as shopping for the best number, finding that +2 on Kansas when everyone else is +1.5, by signing up for Odds Logic, the best live odds page around. All you got to do is go to oddslogic.com/Josh123. That'll give you a 7-day free trial and 50% off your first month of service. So that about does it, guys. Another pod here in the books, as always. I'll leave you with 2 final thoughts. One, whether I see you at the Borgata in Atlantic City, Twin River in Rhode Island, the Brook in New Hampshire, Foxwoods or Mohegan Sun down in Connecticut, at the Encore in Boston, Plainridge Park Casino, MGM Springfield, or the Nash, in my neck of the woods on the border of Massachusetts and New Hampshire, or out in the desert, where the true grinders get down, where Billy Walters sends his number runners, where the lowest juice possible is found at the South Point, or Sweat and Sharp Contrarian plays, jumping in the stadium swim pool when you cash a big ticket at Circa. Wherever it may be, you're going to walk up to me, and you're going to show me a nice sweep from Friday. Remember Friday, guys? Iona, Detroit, Brown. Show me one or all those tickets. Guess what? First one's on me, next one's on you. We'll post about the book. Sweat Sharp Contrarian plays all night long. So as always, guys, coming off a 3-0 or an 0-3, a 1-2, a 2-1. Again, a great night, a terrible night, a hot streak, a cold streak. We're going to be hot sometimes, we're going to be cold sometimes, but we're always grinding. We're never getting too high on ourselves when things are going well. We're never getting too low and in the dumps when things aren't going our way. We just got to stick to the model, stay disciplined with our bankroll management, and play the system matches. And avoid the potholes. Avoid the ones with red flags. But you might know by now, if you don't, we're looking for games that are against the public, with the house, with the pros, flat bet. Avoid parlays and get that CLV. If we can do that, we're going to be successful sports bettors. So have a great Monday, everybody. Again, if you're like me, getting ready to go out and shovel again, don't go too ham. Don't go too hard. Take it easy. And hopefully we'll stay snowed in and cash some tickets tonight, which is always the goal. So look forward to seeing everyone tomorrow. That'll be a big Tuesday edition, episode 461 of the All Systems Go Sports Betting Podcast, powered by Rhythm. Good luck, everybody, and have a great Monday night.